Hello, you lovely lot. Welcome to this week's online masterclass with Enterprise Nation. Thank you very much for joining us. An absolute joy and a pleasure to have you with us this lunchtime. This masterclass today is actually part of our Go and Grow online campaign, which, if you haven't heard of before, is a campaign that helps you basically do better business on the web. So pretty handy for these days and age. Supported by 123reg, Microsoft and VeriSign. And if you want to know anything more about anything to do with that, enterprisenation.com/go and grow. Yeah, all the details on there. Today, really excited to be joined by Rachel from Shake It Up Creative. Rachel is going to be chatting to us on the fundamentals of DIY SEO, a popular topic indeed. It's our record number of registrations for our masterclass actually today, so no pressure, Rachel, at all. But yes, I'll hand over to you, and if you've got any questions, do not forget to type them in the box, and it will be our absolute pleasure to pass them on to Rachel once she's finished her presentation. So yeah, if you're thinking of them as you're watching, ping them over to us, and yeah, we'll pass them on at the end of her presentation. But for now, enough from me. Over to you, Rachel.
Hello, welcome. Thanks for tuning in today. Hopefully you're going to leave with a better understanding of search engine optimization, how you can do things yourself to improve the position of your website within the search engine results. I'm happy to answer some questions at the end, but if you don't get a chance to get those answered, then you can contact me via Twitter afterwards if we run out of time. So today we're going to be covering, let's just move that on for you. Today we're going to be covering keyword research and looking at what the difference between on-site and off-site SEO, optimizing and implementation, tools, Google Analytics, and Bing places for Google My Business. Sorry, my slides are not moving on. 1 second, bear with me.
They're misbehaving themselves, and we tested it and checked it and everything. What are they doing now? That's not very fair. If we don't mind waiting, it's worth our wait. If you need to do any fiddling around, Rachel, we could do that. It's very odd that they're now not doing their. This is the joy of technology.
Right,
hey! Oh, I'll leave you to it. Thank you very much.
Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so we'll start looking at keyword research. So the first thing to know is that keyword no longer means a single word. We tend to say key phrase research now because it describes long tail keywords, which are more defined keywords. And as a business, you're not just looking for phrases to sell your products or services, but phrases that address your customers' problems, their wants, needs, and their interests. So you should be producing content to answer these queries and then optimizing this content with a collection of key phrases. So during your research, you want to identify terms that have a high number of search queries yet low competition. If you look at the diagram on the screen, you can see that the one-word phrases, single keywords, are very generic. They might be searched a lot of times, but there's also going to be a lot of answers, a lot of websites listed in response to those searches. If you're using more targeted phrases generally with 3, 4, 5 or 6 words, then they're going to be more specific, and you've got a higher chance of converting those people to actually go to your website and buy your products, your services, or anything else that you're trying to achieve. So you're looking for a low quantity of results with a high number of queries, but relevancy is also key. So how do you actually get the keywords that you need? Find out which ones are going to be best for you. There are lots of tools out there. This screenshot here shows in the Bing Webmaster Tools by Microsoft, the keyword research tool. So I've made the bottom section larger for you all to see there. There are limitations with these tools, and if your product and service is quite niche, you might struggle to get enough valuable information from them. And you should never, ever keyword stuff your pages. Just put long lists of keyword after keyword after there. That's a very bad idea and very negative for your optimization efforts. So you want to use a tool like the Bing Webmaster Tool Keyword Planner or the Google AdWords Keyword Planner. There's also a tool called KW Finder, which you can sign up for a free trial on. Or perhaps you know someone that's got a more advanced tool like SEMrush, and you can borrow their account, or again have a free trial of something like that. You can also look at what your competitors are ranking for and test out phrases in Google and find what's going to convert people. So the types of on-site activities for search engine optimization are all shown on your screen now. Within your website page, you can have something called header tags, and that determines for the search engines what's the most important part of the text that you're displaying. Within the copy below those header tags, you should aim for at least 300 words. It should be really good quality content. There's also other things that you can do on the page, on every page across your website, and that will be to use the alt tags behind images, which essentially gives an image a title. The reason for doing this is because when people are using screen reading software, blind people or people with hearing difficulties sometimes use it as well, then if you hover over an image, it will actually read out via the software what the title of that image is, but you can also use it for a benefit for search engine optimization. You want to make sure that your pages are loading at a good speed, and if you set up a bespoke 404 page, essentially anyone that goes to a URL that should be part of your site, they believe, but is a dead link, you can redirect them back into the site so that you're not losing them out of your site completely. Just direct them to better content. Please make sure that your websites are mobile friendly. It's super important these days, and you will be penalised in the search results, but we'll have a look at that again a bit later as well. If you're looking at the offsite activities that you can do to optimize, you should really utilize Google Plus page. Google do prioritize websites that have a Google Plus page associated with it because it is one of their own. If you can place guest posts on trusted sites, great, get a link back in. Citations are very important, and these are where you will list your website and your services on various directories and partner websites, other companies, anywhere you can really that's relevant, but please ensure that your NAP details, which stand for name, address and phone number, are exactly the same across the board. It's a good idea to make sure your description does differ slightly, so you can alter it each time, but those other core contact details should remain the same. Reviews are also really important. Reviews in Google, reviews on Trusted Reviews and other places where you can get customers to submit their feedback for you. And LinkedIn articles are also great for offsite SEO. If you can write those, get them shared across the social network. I'm going to have a quick look at implementation now. For those of you that have a WordPress website, this is a screenshot from the Yoast plugin, the most popular and most reliable SEO plugin available within WordPress at the moment. And this shows a summary of the inclusions for this website. So on this page, we were writing about using oak sleepers in landscaping, and you can see there that the focus keyword is exactly that, using oak sleepers in landscaping. Below that, it provides a summary of where that key phrase is being used. Is it within the content? Is it within the page title? Is it within the metadata? And you will get a yes or no answer for those to guide you on how well your implementation is going for that page. There is also an on-page analysis tab where it will tell you exactly how to improve the SEO for that page based on what you've input so far. Here you can see the editing area for an individual post in WordPress. You're aiming to see that green light on the right-hand side where it says your SEO is good. It ranges from red through to amber through to green, and if you get a red light, you know you've got some way to go. Amber, getting there, but that green light is the ultimate, and that's what you're looking for across every page that you're optimizing within your website. Yoast is a brilliant tool to help guide you, and it's not the absolute, but it really is a good guide to get you optimizing in the right areas. So we'll have a quick look at some tools that can help you with your DIY optimization. If you go into Google Search Console, which used to be called Google Webmaster Tools, and Bing has one of these as well, Bing Webmaster Tools, you can verify your site and use these platforms to get clued up about how people are finding your website, which URLs might need fixing, and more details. This screenshot shows you within the Google tool, the search traffic, search analytics, looking at the queries and clicks. You can customize these reports. So this could show, you could have a play around here and you could show clicks, impressions, the click-through rate, the position options, and you can play around and use the information to find product or service areas that aren't bringing visitors to your site or perhaps need some improvement. As I mentioned earlier, it's very, very important to have a mobile-friendly site. Both Bing, as you can see in the smaller box there, and Google have tools where you can enter the URL and actually check whether your site is mobile-friendly. So enter your URL, and you can do this for different parts of your site if it's a bit segmented, and just check that it's loading and that there's no errors detected. That's the message that you're looking for. Content keywords. We're having a bit of a look into an insight into your content here. So this list of words provides insight into how Google is interpreting what is on your website. The significance of each word reflects how often it's found across the site's pages. You can click each keyword to see examples of pages on which it appears, and the list can help you see if there is a highly relevant term that perhaps not being seen as significant enough. If within this tool you see unexpected keywords, things such as $1 million, Viagra, Nigerian, terms that are associated with scams, then it could be a sign that your site has been hacked. So it's really valuable free data to have a look at every now and then. This is a screenshot from Google Analytics. Your Google Analytics dashboard will tell you what your site traffic is over variable amounts of times. You can set the dates to choose which period you're searching for. If you have a look at the user visitor overview here, you can add a segment to overlay specific data. An example would be to add mobile and tablet, and you'll be able to see the total number of sessions by browser with mobile and tablet data for that browser listed in its own right, as you can see on the right-hand side. Using the audience section in Analytics shows you where your visitors are coming from. So referrals from other websites, social media channels, and also direct traffic. You can tie in with AdWords if you use that as well, and you can link your Search Console so you're able to access data from there too. You can see the top referring sites snapshot on the presentation slide there. The Facebook subdomains are Facebook users clicking on sponsored shared links, desktop and mobile subdomain versions, where you can see the m.facebook mobile and lm.facebook there. There's another section within Analytics which is the behavior section. This is really useful to learn where visitors enter and then what they do afterwards. Whilst for most sites entry via the home page is usually the highest, don't presume that, and also learn which pages aren't far behind. If a visitor enters via your home page, how many other pages are they going to during that visiting session? It helps your SEO efforts because Google likes valuable, engaging content, as do Bing, and as do your visitors. Know which pages you need to improve, where people are dropping out, and how they are finding your website. Another free tool that you must utilize is Bing Places or Google My Business. Don't let other people speak for you. You can state your opening hours, your contact information, control your maps listings, and manage reviews from these tools. On the left you can see the Bing one there, and you can add images into that. And on the right you can see the Google version, and that shows you also your review score. And don't be put off if you have all 5-star reviews that you know that have been submitted, but actually it's determining it as a 4.8 or a 4.9. It's just done on a percentage basis. So when you've got a high number of 5-star reviews, it will then begin to show 5 stars. So thank you very much for listening today. As I say, I'm happy to answer a few questions now, or via Twitter, via either of the handles noted on the slide. Thank you very much.
Rachel, thank you so much. Bang on time. Wonderful. I'm very impressed. Thank you so much for that. It's brilliant. There's loads of stuff and very sort of practical ways of working it through. I will just say to everyone watching, thanks. There's been a couple of questions, and you absolutely can watch this session anytime again. Just log into the website. You log in as your Enterprise Nation membership, and you can watch it any time, as many times as you want. So panic ye not. All that information is there. A question from Emma. Emma, I'm just going to fire straight into these, Rachel, if that's all right with you.
Yeah.
Emma has asked, if you're not using WordPress, do you have any hints about what you should use for optimization? She's currently using Adobe Muse. Not sure if you have any insight on that at all for us.
It's not a system I'm familiar with, but most content management systems will have fields in there for the metadata. So on each page of the website within the content management system, you're looking for fields like meta title, keywords, meta description, header tags, and all those things that you can complete to optimize that page.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks. Got loads of questions coming in. If you want to ask a question, don't forget you can type it in the box just below, or I think it's just above actually on your screen, and we would be very grateful to pass it on to Rachel. We've got her now until 1 o'clock, so make the most of having this expertise. I've got a question from Ethan. I'm just reading as I'm talking, sorry. Ethan saying, big thanks for the tips. If you don't have a physical or customer-facing location, do you still need to enter an address on Google My Business? That's quite an interesting one, because I guess that probably applies for quite a lot of people. Any tips on that, Rachel, would be great.
There is a way around it. Google have changed it so that you can put a service area. So you will need to enter your address essentially within the back end, but then you don't have to make that address public. The only problem with this is you will find that you won't get listed in what they call the local pack. So when people are searching in Google and it brings up those 3 to 5 map results, you won't get listed in there without displaying a specific public address. If you've got a service area, then unfortunately it doesn't quite work the same.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That's brilliant. Again, just a reminder for people who are just messaging, who just joined, if you did miss any of this presentation, you will get a link sent out afterwards. So all the details will be in that. You can watch it again on the website. So panic ye not. It has not disappeared into thin air. It is still there for you to use. Rachel, in popular demand this lunchtime. Cara, thank you very much for your question. She's asked, is her website automatically hooked up to a Google Analytics, or is it something that you need to connect to? She's in the process of launching a WordPress, a new version of her current Weebly site in New York, it sounds like. Wow, how exotic. Yeah, just any insight on that would be great.
Fantastic. You live in one of my favorite places. You need to actually generate as unique Google Analytics code. So you need to log into your Google account and go into Analytics, put your website address in there, and then get that code and have it installed on the website, which you can do via plugins in WordPress. And then it will start looking at your data and your traffic specifically for your site. It doesn't usually happen automatically for you.
Amazing. Thank you, Rachel. Jennifer's question, I'm just going to churn through them because we've just got loads. Interesting one. What SEO tips would you advise for a one-page website? I guess those are the ones maybe more that are used as a holding page with details of how to contact or something like that. I'm not quite sure exactly what her business is, but yeah, any tips on that would be cool.
One-page websites are certainly harder to optimize. You need to really narrow down your focus phrases and use a collection of those that work together across that page and within all the meta fields. But if you've got I don't know, if you've got more in-depth services or several products, then I really would advise moving away from a one-page website and perhaps having a few more pages to give you really bespoke, narrowed down sections that you can then optimize in their own right. But you know, it can work for one page. It's just a bit more tricky.
Yeah, and I guess the thing is it's, you know, they don't have to have a lot of stuff on the other pages. They can just be a contact page maybe, or, you know, an about page, or depending on what your thing is, I guess it doesn't have to be too convoluted. It just, yeah, spreads it out a bit. It makes complete sense.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is an interesting one. Sam, thank you very much for your question. He's asking how much time you should dedicate to SEO a week to gradually sort of start engaging more customers. Is it something that needs to be updated weekly? How often does one need to check on this kind of stuff, Rachel?
Once you've put all the basics in place, you don't really need to change those aspects unless something does change. So if your phone number changes or your hours change, or you need to remove a bad review, you know, those kind of things, then just keep an eye on those on general sense. But with optimization and the keywords, you should really look to review them sort of, well, every 6 months or so, because web traffic is changing all the time and new competitor sites are coming in all the time. So if you really want to stay on top of the game, then I would say quarterly. If you don't have the time for that, or you don't feel there's quite that much need, then every 6 months should do it. But a lot of small businesses, they really only do it yearly. You know, it's not advised, but do what you have time for and do the best you can.
And I guess anything's better than nothing, right? Like any
Absolutely.
any effort is super helpful.
Absolutely.
Toby, thanks very much for your question. Toby asking how important the URL structure of the page is for SEO.
It's really important. You don't want something that's quite convoluted with lots of numbers and figures and slashes in there. Try and keep it quite succinct. Try and keep it targeted in line with your focus keyword. So you can use it in the URL, and then you can use it within your tags and your titles, and it all follows on and makes a nice story, really. A good case put forward, as it were, for the search engines for that key phrase.
Talking of key phrases, actually, Teresa Norman's been in touch, wondering about examples of excellent key phrases. I guess it's dependent on, you know, different products and stuff like that, but have you got any at your fingertips that you could kind of give us an example of, Rachel?
It is dependent on your products, and the example I normally use is, instead of using something like shoes, use red men's trainers, and then perhaps a brand, or you know, if you want to buy them locally, buy men's red trainers and then the town. You know, the more detailed, the more succinct, the better results for you is going to generate. So have those in mind when you're thinking about what your user might be putting into the search engines to find what you're offering.
Amazing. Great. Thank you so much. You're churning out the answers just as fast as I'm churning out the questions. Well, passing on the questions. If you've got one, we've still got time, so do ping it in. We're more than happy to pass it on to Rachel. Great question from Kelly. Kelly's website is image-led. She's a photographer. So in terms of SEO rankings, I'm guessing she's saying, should I add more text? Guessing that is yes, as much as you can, Kelly. Would that be right, Rachel?
If you can, I know that with photography platforms, sometimes it's not possible. It is heavily image based, and that's how it's set up. So make sure you're using your alt tags, the alt image tags really well. Make sure you're using all the other aspects of the page really well. But yes, if you're still struggling to rank for some of those keywords, then it may be that you need to address the text side of things and also what you're doing off-site as well.
Amazing. Thank you very much. That's brill. Where am I going to next? Cara's been back in touch. She was chatting about her old Weebly site, which is being redirected to WordPress. Are there any recommended plugins that you know about, and how long these should remain? I'm guessing, are we talking around SEO there, or is that going slightly off the SEO thing? I don't know if there's plugins for those kind of things, are there?
I would make sure that you've got some kind of capture. So if you've got a contact form on your site and you don't want that spammed, make sure you've got some capture security, and there's various plugins available for that. For SEO, then definitely would recommend Yoast, as you saw in the presentation there. Um, there's loads and loads and loads of plugins, so check the reviews, check when it was last updated to make sure that you're getting a good one, a current one, and then when you're actually backing those up, updating them, back up the whole site before you do any updates, because plugins can stop other things working and cause you problems, and you can lose content. Not that I want to scare you, but just make sure that you've got a full backup before you start doing any updates of any software.
Yeah, my gosh, that is definitely good advice. We've all been on the end of that. It is not fun. Definitely advise that. Sam, thanks so much for your question. Sam's asked about these keyword tools that can be paid for. How useful are those for small business? I guess it's tricky with these, isn't it? Because if we don't know much about this kind of stuff, it can seem like a bit of a minefield. Yeah, your thoughts on that, Rachel, would be great.
I think for small business, you really need to try and do it yourself with as little cost as possible, because the paid SEO tools tend to be a lot of money, basically, and for people that are
Yeah.
going to be doing multiple sites. So try and do it in a DIY approach until really there's a need to buy some kind of software, or pay for subscriptions for things. If you can't generate, if it's niche and you can't generate the data through the free tools, then have a look at something paid for then.
Okay, Sam's just sent another message in. He's talking about tools that research what is trending online and recommend how businesses can work this into their content for SEO. So that's quite a niche sort of version of that
Okay.
question, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, use Google Trends, use Twitter Trends, and see what people are talking about. But generally, trends move on pretty fast. So you will need to address content or optimization efforts for those tools quite quick.
Yeah, it's that continual updation. I get
Those trends,
updating
yeah.
again. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Kimberly, thank you very much for your question. Oh, and a thank you in from Sam as well. It's always nice to pass those on. Thanks
You're
for that, Sam.
welcome.
So Kimberly's built her site using Strikingly. Do you have any experience at all with that kind of site, and any recommendations for the tools that they use to optimize a website? I don't know if you've
No,
come
I'm
across
afraid
them or
that's a
not.
new one on me.
Yeah, me too. I've not come across them either. Maybe, I hate to say it, bit of search engine. Type it in and see if anyone else has got any. I'm sure there must be a forum or
Absolutely.
someone that's got something to suggest. We've got a question from Crispin in Toaster, wondering, is it impossible to improve the bounce rate of a site using SEO? Do you have any tips, on how that might work?
Yeah, and often it will be because the user just can't find what they're looking for. If it's not immediately clear what your site is offering, or if they've landed in the right place, if there aren't any calls to action, so you're not directing people on for either further information or into the shop part or whatever it is you're trying to achieve, then they'll leave. And essentially, that's your bounce rate. So all things you can do to improve that is to make it great for that person when they land. Try and serve them up exactly what you think they'll be looking for as quickly as possible with as few as clicks through the site as possible.
Amazing. So hit them straight in the face with it, basically. That's the way forward. In the nicest possible way. Gosh, I just realised how
Yes.
that sounds. Not actually, but yes. Gosh, sorry about that. Definitely need my lunch. Last question here from Kirsty. Kirsty, thank you. Kirsty's having struggles. She's hosted on WordPress, and they say that she says she's having trouble using Yoast actually, or any of the SEO plugins. Is the only way to address this to move away from being hosted with WordPress? Any
Um,
thoughts on that?
sounds like there might be something else going on there,
Yeah.
some other technical error. If you want to direct message me after, we can try and take a look for you. No problem. I'm really could be a manner of thing, a multitude of things rather, so I'm not sure, but you shouldn't need to move away from it.
No, it's all designed to do that. I guess maybe it comes back to that thing of, certain plugins blocking other plugins and all that jazz. It's, yeah, over to the
Yeah.
experts on that one, Rachel.
Make sure that you're
um,
actually running, sorry, just a side note to that, make sure you're running the latest version of WordPress.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. But
Yeah.
back it up first.
Yeah.
Rachel, thank you so much for joining us this lunchtime, and thanks to everyone else that's joined us. It's been an absolute bumper masterclass for our Tuesday today. Part of our Grow and Grow online campaign, our campaign basically to help businesses do better on the web, supported by 123reg, Microsoft, and VeriSign. And you can find out more about all of that at enterprisenation.com/go and grow, or come to Startup 2017. We've released it. It's now in the wild. Massive event in London, over 2,000 people coming, events in Birmingham, events in Bristol, and there is a whole area dedicated to all of this kind of stuff, how you can go and grow your business online. Tickets are available at enterprisenation.com if you go to the events section. Really, really excited to be having that up and out there now. So yeah, come and join us. It would be great to have you there. Next week we are back for our last masterclass before the dreaded Christmas, or maybe it's just because I haven't done my Christmas shopping. The exciting Christmas. Our topic next week on why everything you've heard about generating leads is wrong. That's what we're chatting about next week. So join us for that next Tuesday at 12:30. Big thanks again, Rachel, for your time, and thank you very much for joining us. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday.
Thank you, everyone.